So 2014, we know a bunch of games that are announced. There's a ton of stuff that still hasn't been announced. Do we think 2014 is going to be a great year for games?
Every year is a great year for games.
You just said it's gonna be
A better
slow.
year. A better year for games.
Well, they're all great, but it's I think it's slow if you're only depending on next gen consoles to give you all your fun. I mean, it's going to be a weird transitional year because we'll see some developers or publishers sort of try to peter out a little bit if they can on current gen or whatever we call PS3, 360. But that's still where most of the user base is going to be. So you can't abandon them. So you're still going to have to make your games play on those machines, but you're going to want to kind of make games for the fancy new tech. And I think this will be a year of tension of sort of which way to
Right, because are you going to cut off the previous? Is Ubisoft going to say no? Assassin's Creed, we are building this for Xbox One and PS4.
That'll happen eventually, but we've seen like Battlefield on current gen does not really run super great.
Right.
So we've already seen it's almost like forcing people to make the upgrade because the current gen versions are clearly downscaled of the next gen versions, and I mean at a certain point you just can't play it anymore. So they'll get you into it eventually.
But I think also as we were talking about in other installments of this, the independent games are more and more fun to watch, and there are so many of those that are announced, and it is harder to tell when they're actually coming out. But we got to think that some of these are coming out, and I would love to be playing Spy Party next year in full release. The Witness, that seems like it's pretty close to coming out. Jonathan Blow's game, which I know doesn't look great when you watch like a trailer of it or something like that.
It's fun to play though.
It's really good. Yes. And one of the things I really liked about 2013 that I think will carry into 2014 is how surprising the year can be when new games come out that you're not expecting. Like I don't know if you were expecting Towerfall to come out.
No, absolutely not. Totally
suddenly
shocked me.
there.
Rogue Legacy was another game that I didn't know anything
That's
about.
a great
until,
point
like,
because these are also games that don't have the typical PR cycle, and I'm even a part of that with things like VGAs. It's like people have these big ramps and years of marketing, and sometimes games now just pop out, and even like a Device 6. I didn't really know anything about it, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, you should check it out.
It's a dude sending an email. That's all they
right.
do.
And it's like, wait, I should check that. And you're right. It's there's a nice element of surprise there where there's not this promotional cycle, this emotional journey you take, waiting for the game. It's just sort of like, oh, it's there.
And that, I think, is converging with, and I think we see PS4 leading the charge on this in terms of consoles, but live streaming and improving ways to share what you're doing with other people. When you load up that PS4, you immediately get that waterfall of updates from your friends. Xbox One, you can have that activity feed next to you while you're doing anything else. I think that people are going to be hearing about games in more and more ways. They're going to be seeing clips of games in more and more places. They're going to be broadcasting their own tastes to more people, and it's going to be just more likely that you bump into some cool game that you hadn't heard of. And I think that makes the prospect of gaming next year more exciting than anything that we could be seeing from the big companies.
It's a cool idea. Yeah, more discovery, I guess, but from your friends of other titles that are going to be out there. So as we wrap up this segment, wrap up the year, what are you most looking forward to next year, Russ? Is there a game?
Yeah, I really can't wait to play Binding of Isaac on my Vita. I know it's already out, but I will sink 300 hours on Vita. It's such a perfect game for mobile, and I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, and a surprising answer. Alex?
Even as someone who doesn't play a whole lot of multiplayer games, Titanfall is one of those kind of irresistible things. I've played enough of it now to know it's something I will definitely get into, so I'm pretty excited about that. And I don't know if it's coming out next year, but I'm curious to learn more about that game, The Order. I've heard a lot about that game, and I'm very interested in what they're doing with that one.
Very cool technology they're doing with that, which is great. Steven?
Some of the ones I mentioned already, but Luftrausers I think will be awesome on Vita. I played a little bit of that already. And Witness and Spy Party, if they can both come out again, I think those will be fantastic. I'm also just really excited about feeling like some systems are maturing. And the Vita and the 3DS, I find myself playing more and more. And both of those systems just feel like really good. I have a ton of cool games saved on both of those on my 32 gig cards that I wedge in. It's just a little more personal information than you wanted, probably, but I'm here to share, Jeff. I'm here to share.
Tell us what a great year it's been for games and will be
so
next
wonderful.
year.
It's all good.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us on the bonus round. We will see you next year for all new episodes right here on Game Trailers.